Hey guys, it's Gina. So welcome back to another week of Chasing Sunsets. I'm going to tell you that today's video is probably going to get a little bit deeper on my religious side. So if that's not your thing, go ahead and just pass this one on by. I won't get my feelings hurt. There are a lot of other videos out there that don't focus on that as much, so you might get more out of those. But if you'll just kind of bear with me for a few minutes, hopefully maybe you'll get some inspiration from this one as well, and you will actually like it. For those that are new, I'm Gina, and I created this channel so I could focus on actually finding my happy again. Because as you know, when you're a mom and you work full time and you have all these other things that are pulling you down, it is really hard to stay true to you. I mean, because you're all these other hats, you're all these other people. And ultimately, I'm Gina, and I have to stay Gina. So this Chasing Sunsets is about finding your happiness, your path, the way your life is supposed to be. And I hope that you'll take this journey with me. So we're in the Christmas season, and I love Christmas. And I love Christmas because, well, it's all about the birth of Christ. And I don't look at Christmas kind of the same way everybody else does. Now, we do a tree and, we do presents. So that's not what I'm talking about. But for me, it's like, it doesn't need to be a ton of presents. It doesn't need to be a ton of anything other than just basically the feels, all the good stuff, spending time with family, spending time with God, just relaxing, enjoying the extra lights and just the ambiance of the season, and just, realizing that you can give of yourself to somebody else and be such a blessing. But then also just understanding that, we have the season because Jesus was born. Now, technically, December 25th isn't his birthday, but that's the day we celebrate it as. So I'm not going to get into all the theological explanations there because I don't even know what the actual day would be. But based on, evidence in place, it's not December 25th. But we do celebrate it on December 25th every year. And so I don't think it really matters what day you celebrate somebody as long as it's about them. So, all right. So a couple of years ago, I heard a sermon at our church that was talking about the cups of deliverance and sanctification. And there are 4 cups. And the first one is sanctification. Second one is deliverance. The third one is redemption. And the fourth one is restoration. And this is actually commonly used during the Passover season because it's talking about how God delivered his people out of Egypt and brought them into, their promised land, basically. And the sermon really touched a chord with me that made me really want to incorporate this into my Christmas celebrations. So a little bit of background. This keeps getting fuzzy. I don't know what's going on. So a little bit of background. Whenever I was growing up, I was enthralled with English literature and history and architecture. I remember studying the fashions of, and I'm talking about like 1700, 1800, the castle architecture, how they built secret rooms, how they did all the stonework and things of that nature. And the weird thing is I was never into Gothic type stuff, and a lot of that architecture is very Gothic in nature. But I was very enthralled with the English culture and history. And one of the things that I loved and kind of started incorporating even as a teenager was the concept of afternoon tea. I thought that was just the neatest thing ever. And when I was growing up, a lot of times on Christmas Eve, because we would have the big dinner on Christmas Day, on Christmas Eve, my mom didn't want to have to cook something as well because she'd been cooking to prep for Christmas Day. So we would have like snacks and hors d'oeuvres and things like that. And she would refer to it as our Christmas tea. You know, we'd have basically finger foods, and that was our Christmas Eve. We'd watch a movie. A lot of times it was It's a Wonderful Life, because it came on NBC every year, and because this is like before DVDs and VHSs and all that kind of stuff. This was when there was actually TV, way back when. But so, excuse me, we did that every year. And it was just such a wonderful nightly routine on Christmas Eve. And it was very family oriented. Everyone was just, you know, maybe some games were being played. The movie was on in the background, finger foods eating. And then the next day we'd wake up to Christmas, and then there would be big Christmas dinner. And then it would just be, you know, everyone ate too much and then basically passed out naps and then, you know, start the next day over or whatever. So, as I got older, I like to incorporate the concept of a Christmas Eve tea into my daily routine, or into my annual routine with Christmas. And I took my love of the English tea and the proper English tea settings and everything, and kind of married the two ideas together and made it a little bit more ceremonial in a way, but yet just still very, I don't know, classy but relaxed. And there was even a time when I was collecting teapots, and what I wanted in the teapot collection, just so you know, was I wanted a teapot for each season, a fall, winter, spring, and summer teapot. Then I wanted a really nice set, like a silver teapot that I could use like on very special occasions. And then maybe something like a birthday tea set, or something that was kind of more playful and fun if there was like a little celebration going on that was not a very, you know, like serious, like Easter or Christmas or something like that. But what ended up happening instead is that people just started giving me teapots, and they had no rhyme or reason to them. And, you know, when you tell people that you have a teapot collection and then they just start dropping all these teapots on you, you can't really tell them, no, I'm collecting, but I'm not collecting what you're wanting to give me. So at least I hadn't figured out the finessing of that yet. And so I ended up, it became just cluttered with too many teapots that I never could use, didn't have a place to put them. And I just decided I'm getting rid of all of them. I really regret that, because I do miss a couple of those teapots that I had that I really loved. But overall, it was the best decision at that time. So anyway, fast forward now, like 300 years. And I heard this sermon a couple years ago about the 4 cups of sanctification. And I thought, you know, I can incorporate that into my Christmas tea, because it became really more important again once I had my daughter, because I wanted to set up some sort of a tradition that wasn't all about just gimme presents, because I don't mind giving her presents for Christmas, but that's not the whole purpose of Christmas. And I wanted her to see the holiness of Christmas. And honestly, my favorite part of Christmas is probably Christmas Eve. There's just a peace about it. It's just, it's in the air. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just such a holiness about that evening. If you just stop for a moment and be still, you just feel the holiness of the world is about to change. So, I mean, our Savior was born. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? So I was on a quest to figure out something, and this is what I figured out. Now, this is still kind of a work in progress, and so this year it's going to be a little bit different than we did it last year, and probably by next year I'm going to have it a little bit different as well, but it is a work in progress. And so this is what I did. I had these little jars, just little canning jars. I don't know where I got them. Probably Walmart, Target, Amazon, who knows. Maybe even a garage sale for all I know. But what I did is I had a friend that had a Cricut, and I just paid her to put the words on my jars. This one says Sanctification. This one says Deliverance. This one says Redemption. And this one is restoration. Now, I was still kind of trying to figure this out last year, and so, or I guess it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And so what I did is I bought some just cinnamon sticks, some whole cloves, some orange peel, and what else did I buy? I think it was pieces of nutmeg. And so I decided that I would fill my little jars up with the spices. And I made a punch out of pineapple juice and cranberry juice, unsweetened, and mixed them together. So it made a very pretty, almost like a tequila sunrise looking like thing, because it was just gorgeous the way it mixed together. And then you could put some like Perrier or spritzer water, or just whatever, to kind of give it a fizz if you wanted to. But again, it was unsweetened. I didn't have any extra sugar in there. And then I would just add in, I got these little tong things that are in here. I store them in here because I don't want to lose them, because they are they're little tongs. And I would just add in the spices. And as I was going through, and you take your cup of juice and go through, and I would pick the spice from the Sanctification cup, and I'd pick the spice from the Deliverance cup, and then I'd pick the spice from the Redemption cup, and then the Restoration cup, and I would put it in my drink. Now, it doesn't make the drink taste, the spices make it taste different. The fact that it came out of these cups doesn't make it taste different. It was more of a ceremony that I wanted. And again, that stems from my love as a child of the English tea party, the English tea set, how they did that. It was very ceremonious the way they did that. And there is something to be said about, following a little bit of a ceremony in certain aspects. Some people do it with their coffee in the morning. They brew their coffee and they sit there and they breathe it in while they're sipping it. Some people will make a cup of tea, and there's something about, boiling the water, putting it in a pretty teapot, and, just having a cup of tea in the morning, and they have a routine with it, and that routine kind of sets their day. And it doesn't have to be a big routine. It doesn't have to be like a, long, arduous routine at all, but it's just something about that routine that kind of just goes, okay, everything's right with the world. And then you just start your day off that way. So I put my spices in these cups, and then I made my juice, and then I would go through and pick from the different cups. And it was a way to remember how God had come and sanctified us, then delivered us from our torture, our sin. And then he redeemed us by dying. And then he's restoring us, because one of these days we'll be in heaven with him if you've accepted Jesus. And so, it was just kind of a ceremonious way to remember the reason for the season in a tea party. Okay? So I wanted to share this with you because, like I said, I'm kind of morphing it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to continue with this. I want to keep the theme going, but I don't know if what I did is really how I want to make it happen. So, hey, if you've got some ideas, I will take them. But what I'm wanting is that when my daughter's growing up, just by the act of taking it out of each cup and putting a season or a spice or something into her drink, and you can do this hot cocoa. If you eat marshmallows and candy canes and things like that, you can fill it up with stuff like that. It doesn't have to be, whole food plant-based stuff. It can be sugary, standard American diet stuff. So you can totally take this and run with it with something that works for your circumstances. But I wanted something that my daughter could take just a moment to pause each Christmas Eve while we do this. And even if she's not consciously aware that she's pausing for it, to go, thank you, Jesus, for just coming and doing this for us. Thank you. And yes, I'm aware Jesus was not in the Old Testament when they were coming out of Egypt. Okay, I get that. But that's, the thing is that the Bible works together. It's not, so please, haters, don't go there. because I'm not interested in trying to have a theological, discussion about the semantics of this, because what I'm saying is on this, it works for Old Testament, it works for New Testament. It just works to remember that Jesus and God are one. Holy Spirit is one to deliver us. And I just wanted to share this as a way. This is a way that I stop and pause during the Christmas season. And I thought I would just share with you what it is that I do. Take the idea, tweak it, make it your own, change it up, or maybe you come up with something completely different. This year, we are going to go more formally into a Christmas Eve tea. And so it's not going to be like a dinner. It's going to actually be like you would set up like an English tea service. Probably some little finger sandwiches of some sort. Maybe, I've got some recipes for whole food, plant-based, homemade cheeses made out of cashews. Actually, a couple of them have been really good. We've already tried a couple of them. One we had some issues with, but we figured out what the problem is. We're going to try it again because I know it can be good. But, lay out some fruit, lay out some of the cheeses, lay out some homemade crackers, or if you've got a cracker that you like. Basically, we're going to make cookies for Santa anyway. And so it's just going to be an English tea. And so I'm kind of combining the English tea with my cups of sanctification. And I may set up like a hot chocolate bar. And also it's Texas. So I don't know if it's going to be 80 or 50. Like tomorrow's going to be 80. Tomorrow night's going to be 50, and Saturday's going to be 50. So it's like, you never know. But I was thinking, I bought some hibiscus leaves so I can make hibiscus tea and then do my cinnamon and the different seasonings in there, which is very good in hibiscus tea. It's like an hibiscus cooler at that point. Very healthy, high in vitamin C, FYI. If you're interested in adding a little bit of vitamin C during the season so you can kind of keep your immune system a little bit more supported. But my daughter probably isn't going to like hibiscus tea so much. And she does love a whole food plant-based hot cocoa that I make with date syrup, vanilla, cacao powder, and a true soy milk that's just soybeans and water. And so she loves that, and we'll probably have that. But I think I'm going to set it up to where it makes it into the cups of sanctification are incorporated into like an English tea service for a Christmas Eve tea. And where it's not going to be stuffy, it's not going to be, just like this overly religious experience. I hope that it gives everyone who's involved a moment to just pause and go, oh yeah. Because that pause is all it takes to just stop for a second and go, oh, holy night. The stars are brightly shining. It is the night that our Jesus Christ was born. So that's how we're planning on spending our Christmas Eve, chasing our sunset. Taking a moment for the family, taking a moment for us to just take a breather for a second. And hopefully maybe this gave you some ideas of how you can get out of the hustle and bustle and just enjoy the moment. So have a great week. Go chase your sunsets. And hey, if you don't mind, subscribe to my channel. I would love to, have us see each other every week. I try to post every single week. So go chase your sunsets. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you next week chasing your sunset. Bye, guys.